Hello everyone, welcome to Grace and Old Paper. This is Lisa. I am working on a new journal today. I started a few days ago for a friend, and we'll call this one, let's see, Vintage Purple. How about that? I had this fabric, this pre-quilted fabric. I've had it for years. I was using it for some other project a long time ago. And when I thought about this journal, I thought this would be the perfect material. And so I had a book from the Dollar Tree that I gutted, and this is what I've actually been using for my glue book. So what I did was I just, cleaned it out, and then I started back here on the spine, and I used good old Fabri-Tac in my Sugar Bell bottles. And I adhered the spine really well, and I took my time going little bit by little bit and getting that the shoulders in there really well, and then slowly went across, adhering a little bit at a time. It took me a little while, but I wanted it to be right. I was going to put a great big doily across the whole back of it, but then I remembered I had this little vintage one. Vintage hanky, doily, whatever you want to call it. And, silly me thought of this after I had already adhered this. And I wanted to sew it on. So I tacked it on with some the art glitter glue. And then I went in, and luckily I have a package of these curved needles. And let me tell you, that works wonderful. So I just got me some thread that matches it. You can't even tell where it is. And went in and just ever so often just tacked it down around the main points. And then this is actually another piece. Let me get some. I cut it off a bigger doily. And it's kind of like this. But when you cut all of the bits off, you end up with this pretty little snowflake looking thing. So I adhered that in the center as well, just to give it a little more oomph in the center. Then what I had to do, or what I decided to do, is since this was pre-quilted fabric, I thought it would be too thick to wrap around. So what I did is, where it was sticking out, I carefully cut apart. Let me see if I can find a piece of this. Yeah. This is the other side of it. That's really pretty too. But what I did is I carefully pulled apart the layers, snipped the threads, cut the batting off, so that all I was left with was this single thickness of fabric, and folded it over and glued it. I fought the glue, and I have to say the glue won, because I had glue everywhere. I haven't learned the knack of just a little bit of glue will do. Hopefully I'll get the hang of that at some point in time, but it's adhered. A little thready, because the threads, I keep finding loose ones. Because the threads, I had to cut them, but this will all be covered up with the end papers. So. And since I'm working with limited stock and not going out much, I didn't have a whole lot to match this. But what I've come up with, and this is my hidden spine that I'm going to be using, is this purple. And it actually matches the lighter hues in the fabric. I don't know if you can see that. You can see the lighter hues in it. So it does match. It's not my favorite. I have my end papers glued down, so it will look like that when I get it glued down, and I think that's pretty good. I think it matches pretty well for, making do with what I have. I do have my end papers. Let me tell you about what happened with my end papers. I have them both adhered to my file folder, and I took them out and used my spray adhesive, which is the Elmer's permanent spray bond. This is good for crafting. And they're adhered, but my silly spray can went crazy toward the end and was spraying out way too much. You see it kind of bled through. was spraying out way too much, and then I couldn't get it to turn off. It wouldn't stop. So it is currently sitting on my back porch with the cap on it, upside down, on my drop cloth covered table out there. And if you pick it up and turn it back over, you can hear it spewing in there. So I'm just going to have to let it run its course, and then I'll throw it away. But wow, it went crazy. So I had a lot of glue. I had it all over me. It was going everywhere. So anyway, I do have these adhered. All I've got to do now is fold it over. What I'm going to do, I think, is just tack it in place, and then I'm going to sew it, I believe. But I think that'll look pretty good. So today I want to put together my papers. I'm going to start getting my papers ready for this. It's going to be 3 signatures, and because I don't get out and shop a whole lot with COVID still going on and everything. I'm just one of those cautious ones. Plus I've had some health conditions that, I really shouldn't be out there. So anyway, 3 signatures. So I've come up with all of these. And there's a little touch of green, but there's some purple, and then there's vintage colors. Tea-dyed, I got some tea-dyed papers. Some various things. So let's just put some signatures together and see what we got. So let me separate my little piles out here. I made these. These are just little trifold things I can stick in the center. I think one of them is just a double fold. No, I made them all trifold. Well, look at me. Okay, good deal. This was some French paper. Actually was all one piece like this, and then it has more of the plain at the top, but I liked this part of it, so I figured since there was 3 signatures I could kind of do in every other pattern like that. I put these together because I wanted something with a flip out, and all my papers just fit in here and didn't have any room to flip out. So I put together these 2 pieces of ledger paper. I glued them together, folded them, and then once I sew them in the signature, they should be fine. So I'll have either flip outs, or I can glue them and make side tucks. So I have 3 of those. The person I'm making this for is a churchgoer, is a Christian. And so I had these in my collector books, at my thrift haul. I got several of the collector series. It's, what is it? The Encyclopedia of Collectibles, yeah. Well, this one was talking about Bibles, and so I thought these were really nice images, and these are like vintage, it's like prayer books. That's pretty good. This one had the image on the edge of the pages. Isn't that pretty? So watercolor of the Nativity. I like that. I figured I could put those in there. I have some just note paper out of a book I already had that was this color. Love that. I tea-dyed these the other day. Just some little ledger things. This person also likes wine. And I had this out of the collector book as well. These are vintage corkscrews. All kinds of vintage corkscrews. They look like torture instruments, actually. I thought that would add some interest anyway. Okay, and then I have some doilies because this is going to be a very feminine book. So I have this rectangle one I really want to use. So I'm going to put it in the center one, I think. I have some more note paper. This one is a whole leaf, so I can just put it in the journal like this. I will reinforce the seams because it's got the holes where it came out from the stitching. I have some tea-dyed papers. I'm one that I don't like mine really dark and grungy. I guess if I was doing a different type ledger, I would probably do that, but this one, everything is, I'm not the grungy type, I guess, so I tea dyed these. I ended up with some coffee cup stains at someplace. I don't know if it was on these papers or the other, but I liked it. It's got a few little variations in it, and I do like that. So there's that. I have this grid paper. It's not as dark as some of these others, but I still like it. It's not a white. It's a very creamy white. How about that? I have these vintage. This came out of a vintage Christian music book. So I have the whole leaf. I'm going to use those. I'm running out of room to stack things. I do have some purple papers, so I have these three. I'll use that. I just open my drawer and use that. And I have these stripey ones. And then I have these, which is what I'm going to use to cover each of the 3 signatures, because, you know, I wanted to use purple, but in looking at the fabric I had on hand, this goes together just fine. If I used that, looks terrible. So I didn't want to do that. Even the other purples, I wouldn't throw with it, but these vintage papers I think look really well, really good. I have really good English today, can you tell? So this will be our covers for them. All right, well, let's just start. So this would be signature 1. Let's see, how about, let's go ahead and put one of these purple ones in so that it's separated, but it'll still be here. There we go. And then maybe, I like this one. I want one of these Bible ads. Which one? Let's do this one. Green. I think this is looking okay so far. Maybe. No, I think I want to do that in the center. Let's try one of these. What if we did that and then that? Oh, I like the way that has the different size papers going on there. I like that. I like that. I like that. Okay. Music. Guess it really matters which one. What have I not used? This looks good. Okay. I think I need something plain. Tea-dye. That's looking pretty good so far. Yeah. Kind of purple. Let's do another purple. I like that one. I need another one of those ad things. Not ads, magazine articles. I'll tell you, it looks like a torture device. An American folding corkscrew of the 19th century is similar to ones used today by waiters, but has the hooked fulcrum behind the screw, not in front. The handle must be pressed down rather than raised. Okie dokie. Let's put it down here. Okay. Maybe. What have I not used? I've got myself confused. Okay, I've used. Did I use that? Okay, I have used that. I've used that. Well, maybe I've used everything. Not really. And then a purple thing in the center. What do you think? Because I can sew this in right here and then have a flip out. I like that. All right, I think I've confused myself. Let's see if I've used everything. 2, 2, 2. Oops, I haven't used an envelope. No, that blends. There's something little there. Something little there. Well, how about right here? And what I like doing with my envelopes, because if I turn this way and put it in and sew it in as a signature, then you've got to try to slip something in here, and I really don't like that. So what I like to do is flip this backwards and then slide it under there. And this way, it's a nice little pocket, which I've got to glue all that back together. And yes, on the back side, it'll look like that, but I can decorate that, or I could make that a tuck spot. I could make that a tuck spot. So, have I used everything? Let's see. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Did I use that? Hey, I think I did it. Let's see if we like it now. I like having various sizes. So there's the little one. Yeah. I like this. I like the way this looks. Yeah. And this little piece. I like it. I think that's good. What do y'all think? I think that's good. Let's do another one. And I think I'm going to do it in... I'm kind of a OCD matchy-matchy person, so I think I'm going to kind of copy that. So let me put it over there where I can see it. Okay, so I need a cover. This one's going to be the middle one's cover because I didn't have 3 pieces of that other. But I like it too. It's like vintage postcards. Isn't it pretty? My daughter got me this for Christmas, a whole pad of really pretty papers. Alright, if that was the first, then I had an envelope. Alright, now, I only, silly me, tea-dyed 2 envelopes, but I do have this cream-colored one, so I'm going to use it in the middle here. Alright, what was next? A purple paper. A purple paper. This way. Oh, I like it this way. And then next was the grid. Okay. Do y'all put your papers together in the same order if you have similar pages you're using? I don't know what the normal is, but I figure this is the journal I'm making, so I can do what I want to. Isn't that the whole thing? Is you do what you want to do? I even like the back of this. It's old Bible script and stuff. It's really pretty. Okay, green ledger. Okay. And this. I think on that, the other one I did it that way. I'm gonna do do the French on top this time. There we go. All right, and then next comes some music. I love this vintage music, and it's the perfect size. It's absolutely perfect size. And then the little green ledger. And then tea-dyed paper. This is probably just as boring as could be. Look, I dipped my coffee cup in the tea and then set it on the paper. Can y'all see that? See the little coffee cup ring? I like that. Just kind of dipped it onto the paper before I tea dyed it and let it sit there for a minute. And then dipped it in my tea dye, and it worked really well. All right, this one. And another purple. Like that. I should have probably tea dyed this, but you know what? I'm going to do some decorating. And also, she will probably use this journal as a writing journal primarily. So I may just like adhere some more notebook paper to it. Give her some good writing space. Alright, so that was the purple. I need a little... I folded this one different. I didn't fold it in half because this had two pictures on the side. And I didn't want to like fold it in half because then that one would be in half. Isn't that the weirdest looking thing? This is the most normal looking one. And decorative ones. So that's going to go in here. Okay. And then I need some... What do I do with it? Oh, there it is. I got so much stuff on my desk I can't find anything. Note paper. And then the doily. I love this doily. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. I got it in some Happy Mail. I was really excited about it. And then one of these purple flippy things. There. Ta-da! That's signature number 2. Okay. And we repeat. This one, envelope. I have got to glue these back together. Envelope. And then the stripy paper. And the grid paper. And Bible. And I'll move them and adjust them when I get ready to sew them in. Green ledger. This flip out. The what? Oh, this. Something like that. Okay, and then the music. And then this little green ledger. I'm going to be sad when I run out of these. I found these at my thrift store one time, a whole pack of them. And I think I've talked about my thrift store before. It's absolutely terrible. So I may not ever find them again. Let's see. And then a tea-dye paper. And then some of this notebook paper. Okay. May have just heard my daughter and grandson come in. And then my purple paper. Corkscrew. Look at this one. Rustic French corkscrew is prized for its appropriate handle, which was taken from a piece of an old grapevine. Measures 14 inches across. that's really cool. And then some note paper. And then the daily. And there went mine. And then this purple thing. Okay. Let me get these back over here. Okay. So let's see how this looks in here. I learned from Miss Catherine at Sunnyside Journals that when you're putting one together, you want to be able to have this triangle so that when you add pockets and tucks and various items in it, that, and lace, because I'm going to put lace, that you'll have room to expand. So I think that's actually pretty good. I don't think I need to add any more papers. I mean, I've got some more if I want to. I've got this pretty little purple paper. I have this purple paper. So I do have some. I just don't think I need to add any more because I am going to put lace. I have quite a few, or several, vintage flat laces. Decide between some of these. This one's really pretty. Look at that. So I'm going to edge each signature with some lace. I've even got some little ones I can do some stuff with. I have this bigger one that was actually on a gathered thing. It was really big, and I just cut the gathers off, so I can fix that where it'll sew on. So I have quite a few of this color laces, so I'm going to decide which ones and sew them on the beginning of each signature so that when you look at it, I mean, goodness, you know, how pretty will that look with lace sticking out that matches that. So it's nice and feminine, nice and girly. Let's see if I had anything else here. I've got to fix the end papers, but I don't want to sew these in. That's another tip Miss Catherine had, is she doesn't sew her signatures in until she's got her laces sewed on and her most of the embellishments in it, so you can know how thick it's going to be in case you need to take some papers out. And I tend to over embellish, so that might be a good idea for me. My papers, this journal is going to be about 6.5 inches wide and 9.5 inches tall. So, you know, it's a little bit bigger than really I wanted it to be, because most of my 12 by 12 papers, this was my template, see, don't extend out as far. This is a page out of the actual book. But I think it's going to be okay once I get the laces on. I think that'll be all right. So what do we want to do today? Oh, let me show you some stuff I've already made to go with it. I started making ephemera before I even covered the journal. I've got several of these. I'm just going to use as little corner pockets. Got several of those made. I made this little pocket I can glue on. This just got some random book page out of this French book I got for 50 cents at my thrift haul. Have no clue what it says. But I looked up the title, and it's just random stories from Quebec. So, and then I had this little card. This is a free printable I got off my Facebook group. I just thought it was adorable, so I thought that'd be cute in there. So I've got that. Got this lady, came out of my Victoria's Secret books I've got at my last thrift haul, and I think she's just, that look she's got in her face, just like, you know, it's like Give it to me. What do you want to talk about? I thought actually that she would be pretty on that. What do you think? I think that'd be really pretty. Then I'd have to come up with something else. I won't, maybe something else on the other ones, but I think she'd be really pretty for the cover page. Yeah. What do we think? See the lavender? I think it's pretty. So I've got that. I went a little crazy happy with this one and made this little card. And I layered it with some purple, some lavender lace I had, little postage stamp. I sewed around it. This is a piece of lace off of something I got at the thrift store. And then I sewed a button on there, put a button on there. So just a nice little card. So I have that. I was watching Gail Augustinelli the other day, and she made something similar to this that she got from somebody else. She was copying one. Mine turned out a little different, but to be honest, Gail's turned out a little different from the other ladies too. This was white lace, and I had some this purple distress ink, so I just kind of rubbed it over the lace and turned it purple, which I like that. Got some little circles, and then it's got some stitching down it. I also glued it together though. Got some little banners, some little word. I turned it into a paperclip thingy so that I can slide it over the top of the page. If I can get it going. I have the hardest time with these things. I don't know why. But there. So it'll go over the top of a page. Have this little ribbon sticking out. What do you think? It's different looking. It's just almost like a funny looking bookmark. And I left my threads out from my button sewing. I liked that. So I have that piece. This came out of I think it was my All Things Bright and Beautiful book. I thought that was really pretty. I made this as going to be a pocket or tuck spot. Grapes. I think it was out of the same book. And then I layered it with a piece of this, it's actually flannel, checkered flannel, a little piece of lace. And then I had this quote that actually was underneath here. I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever lives in me, and I in him shall produce a large crop of fruit. For apart from me, you can't do a thing. I like that. So that'll be a pocket or tuck spot. This one I'm not sure about yet because I think it was late at night when I made this, and I hadn't fully decided on a theme. So I may not use this one because it really goes more pink. But it's still pretty. So I may use it, and it's got just journaling on the back. This came out of a magazine, but isn't it pretty? On those pretty purple flowers. So either a tuck spot or a pocket or a journaling card. This came out of the Victoria's Secret book also, and it was made just like this on white paper, so I thought this would be great for a belly band. And I just put this bit of white trim on here. So I like that. She loves games too, so I had this vintage bingo card, and I put a magazine image of pretty purple flowers, and then I wanted her to be able to write on it. So I had this, this is actually a sticky note, but I glued it down so it's on there good, so she can use it for a journaling card. So I've got that. Let's see what else I've got. Oh yeah, I'm thinking about, like if this is my end paper, I'm thinking about using the vintage postcards as a pocket. What do you think? You think that's okay? You glue on just like that, and you'd be able to, you know, stick something in. Well, I think that'd be pretty good, don't you think? Right up next to all those vintagey colored things. So I have two of those. And I picked them because there was no writing, and it has really vintage looking font. I like that. And there isn't a big description of what you're looking at, whereas postcards nowadays have that. And these are two I would never use really anyway. I've never been to either one of those places, so but I do love that on the back, so I'm thinking about that. This was another free printable, but isn't it pretty? Little purple flowers. This was a free printable. It's a little coin envelope you put together. Birdie darling. I like it. I have one napkin in purple that I'm going to use somewhere in here, cover something. I think it's really pretty. I think that might be about it that I've picked out so far. I have random other things. You know, I've got these little envelopes that I could use, and I have other vintage little tags, stuff like that. I've got a bunch of, excuse the old lid, but this came off my mother-in-law's button tin. But I've picked out all the purple buttons I have in case I want to use one somewhere. So, and I have just a smidge more of this purple lace. Not very much. So maybe to put on the side of a journal card or something like that. I think that's about it. So if you have any ideas, let me know. When I get brave here and start sewing in signatures, when I get that sewed in, I'll bring you along on the decorating journey. But I think I'm going to sit and think about it just a little bit and make sure I do have enough papers in it, and then I'm going to work on these end papers and get them glued down. Really all I've got to do is, you know, just bring it up and do it. And then I'm going to sew around it, I think, because I like the sewn look. I like it when it's sewn, so I'm going to do that as well. So for now, let me share a Happy Rock with you today. One my daughter painted. She gave me a whole box of Happy Rocks for Christmas. He's kind of funny. So there's your Happy Rock for the day. So may God bless you and keep you safe.